And here we are, folks, just out and about in nature. And indeed, we're looking for materials that we could use with our orchids and also in our garden. And, you know, just one of those days that we are indeed going nature material hunting. So let's see exactly what we can find, folks. Now take a look at this huge log right here that has fallen onto the ground. Now, of course, I would not be able to lift this up and bring this into my garden, but it would be a fascinating place to go ahead and attach orchids to. And again, one of the things we have to understand when we're bringing things from nature and into our garden or into our homes, that we have to find some way to treat it, because of course we don't know what's living inside of the wood. So again, when you take something from nature, let's have something in place to where we're going to go ahead and clean out whatever it is that we're bringing, because we don't want to bring any bugs, we don't want to bring any infestations of any fungus or mold and things of that nature. So that's one thing we also have to be cautious of. Okay, folks, and look what I found here. This is actually a cactus, and let's take a closer look. Look at those needles on this sucker right there. Yeah, so while we're nature hunting, always be mindful of your location and your surroundings and the many plants and perhaps even animals that can be harmful. This is a pretty good wood material that would be great for mounting orchids. So indeed, I think I'm going to pick this one up and we're going to bring this piece back home. And here, folks, this is a very pretty piece of wood right here. Just a lot of different grooves and a lot of character to this. Now, one thing that we have to be careful of, though, folks, is if we take a closer look right here, you're seeing that a lot of this is just really rotting away. So you definitely want to be careful to not bring any rotted wood home. And also, when I shook this up a little bit, I seen a bunch of ants scurrying, and I'm talking about those big wood carpenter ants just scurrying everywhere. So indeed, this is infested with insects. So even though this is a beautiful look, definitely is not very functional in the regards of putting your orchids on this, because it's rotting away and it's also infested with insects. And I found this little pretty interesting blossoming miniature plant right here. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I just thought it was just a very interesting focal piece right here. And here we are back in my garden from a busy day of trying to hunt down some good type of wood for a mounting project with my orchids. So this is basically the best one that I found right here. And what we're going to do now is we're basically going to cover this nice sized piece of wood with tin foil, and then we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven to heat it to a point where it'll kill off any bugs or bacteria that could possibly be lingering in here. So that's what we're going to do now, folks. And here we go. We're just going to go ahead and place this tin foil over it, wrap it all around. And of course, what this is going to do is really going to accelerate the heating process within this wood. And it's also going to seal the heat in this wood, where this wood is going to get really, really hot, and that's exactly what we want it to do. And once you have it fully covered, go ahead and put it on your metal baking sheet, and then go ahead and plop it right in the oven. Okay, folks, so let's go ahead and set this to 375. Okay, and here we are. I'm just going to go ahead and pop this right in the oven, just like that. And then we're just going to go ahead and close the oven, leave it there for 30 minutes, and we'll check it again. Okay, folks, and here we are again. 30 minutes has passed, so we're going to go ahead and check it out and see exactly what is going on now. Here it is. Ooh, nice and hot. And we're going to go ahead and unwrap this for you. We've allowed it to cool off, and now we're just unwrapping it from its tin foil. And right now what we're going to do is we're going to spray this down, try to get all this muck and sand and grit that's in here, and have it all cleaned up, and we're going to allow it to dry off, and then it'll be good to go to actually have it being mounted with orchids. So let's go ahead and clean this off right now. And we are a little bit of a distance away, and I have my actual hose on the setting of full, so we're going to get a full blast here. And definitely is why I wanted to be at a distance away, because as you can see, this powerful force definitely can get all over the place. But here we go, just really trying to get all that grit out. And then we're going to turn this around and also spray it down really, really good. Okay, folks, and for those of you that are still a bit squeamish about taking something straight out of nature and into your home environment or your garden environment, there is still yet something you can do. So definitely for the germaphobics that are out there, please get yourself up off the ground, and rest assured we can still take one extra precautionary method, and we'll show you right now. And here we have our handy dandy sprayer that has been all filled up with peroxide at 3%. But of course you guys can also use alcohol if that's what you want to use, because they both do the same exact thing, with of course sanitizing and fighting off any bacteria or infections or any type of fungus that may be lurking. So definitely we're going to go ahead and take this and spray this piece of wood down. Alright, now. Spray, 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 spray away. Spray, 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 spray away. And we're going to spray this down rather well, and then we're going to turn this over and also spray that down as well. Every nook and cranny, every crack, every hole, we are going to get this peroxide right in there, folks. Okay, and here we are, folks. I wanted to give you more of a thorough look at this piece of wood. Definitely show you why this was very interesting to me. I definitely found a lot of character in this wood. Definitely a lot of flow and kind of direction of movement within this wood, if you will. And I definitely seen a lot of areas that would be great placement for the orchids. So definitely just a piece of wood with great character and great personality right here. And these are some smaller pieces of wood that definitely has great character and personality as well, and would also be great for mounting orchids. And here's a very interesting piece right here. It appears to be a miniature log, and what I love most about this is you can have it either laying flat like this, or if you wanted to, you could also kind of stand it up, just like that. And also, if you guys wanted to, folks, you can have this dangling also right in the wind, and it has definitely nice curves, a nice flow, and a movement whenever you would see this just sway in the wind. So definitely beautiful piece right here. Here is one, folks, with a flattened edge or a flattened base, where you can actually easily sit it on the ground or sit it on your tabletop, and would make a wonderful display as well. And this piece of wood right here is such a beautiful, beautiful piece. As you can see, there's hollowed out areas where you can place your orchids. And if you actually take a look, you see it is actually hollowed in the center as well, where you could almost use this as a wooden vase for your orchids. So definitely just a very, very pretty wooden piece. And here's a great piece right here. As you can see, a lot of flattened edges right here, so definitely easy to place your climbing orchids, such as your bulbophyllums, right on here, folks. And if we turn it around, you're also noticing some hollowed out areas where you can place your orchids as well. So there's many ways to go with this particular piece right here. Indeed, it's very nice, and I can already imagine what it would look like with a lot of orchid life forms on here. And the key to it all, folks, is really finding that perfect piece of mounting material that already has holes and also nooks and crannies that you can just simply push your orchid plant in, as this piece of wood right here. And with this perfect piece of wood, now it's time to find the perfect orchid plant that's really going to accentuate and really make quite a display. And I think we found them. Here we have the Dendrobium anceps. And here we have the orchids already unpotted, and we're just going to go ahead and remove the sphagnum from the roots. And as you guys can see, folks, we did remove a majority of the sphagnum, but we also left some sphagnum on the roots as well, so as to retain some moisture. Since this hole is pretty deep, I'm going to go ahead and add some sphagnum into the hole just like this. Again, just to add some moisture for the orchid. Now it's all about placement. Just decide where you want your orchids to be displayed and then simply begin to push the orchid into the hole. Just like this, firmly into the hole. And since these holes right here were just a little bit smaller, we actually had to divide out our orchids to also make them smaller so that they can fit in these holes. And now we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just going to go ahead and push them into the hole. And here we are, folks, with our natural mounting project that we did today. And as you can see, using the anceps and also this wooden mount and some tillandsia or some Spanish moss as well, has really made quite an interesting display. And as you can see, we use the hole at the top to put this Dendrobium ancep in, and we've allowed the natural flow of its beautiful foliage to cascade down. And also at the bottom as well, there was 2 holes, and we've allowed them to dangle down freely as well. Definitely such a beautiful tropical cascading display right here. And this, folks, I have to say, is just such a fun mount. And look how it dangles down. So when the wind blows, you indeed can see the movement and the flow of this beautiful orchid. Definitely happy to do this project right here. And that brings us to the end of our mounting adventure today. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another orchid adventure with me, Maria Young.